Hello everyone. Last night I watched the movie Waapas Aaunga, directed by Imtiaz Ali, and throughout the movie a thought kept occurring in my mind that how sometimes two different artists through two different mediums are able to capture something so unique, something so similar that our soul identifies. The exact human frequency, the exact wavelength of human sorrow. In 2022, the oral historian Aanchal Malhotra gave us her debut novel, The Book of Everlasting Things. This book was just like a feast of sensory experiences. It told us the story of a Hindu perfumer's apprentice and a Muslim calligrapher's daughter. The love story between these two people who were torn apart, who were separated by the 1947's partition of India and Pakistan. Through her book, Aanchal Malhotra captured the intergenerational trauma of partition, the same way Imtiaz Ali's Waapas Aaunga does. In 2026, we have Imtiaz Ali's Waapas Aaunga, where we have an old man fighting with dementia who has lost all memories of his present life, but his brain holds on to the memories, to a love that he lost in that devastating times of 1947 partition. If we take a closer clinical look at the characters, then these two stories have no similarity in terms of the characters. One is an exploration of olfactory memory on paper, and another is a cinematic masterpiece propped steadily by A.R. Rahman's soulful scores. But if we look at the souls of these stories, we will realize that they are so much similar. They both are trying to map, to showcase the same exact thing, the intimate, the debilitating psychological debris left by a border that has been drawn on the sand. So now let us take a deep dive between the parallels between Aanchal Malhotra's The Book of Everlasting Things and Imtiaz Ali's Waapas Aaunga. To understand the similarities between these two pieces of art, we have to look at the central romances of these works. These two are not conventional love stories. We are given the anatomy of an interrupted love story. In the Book of Everlasting Things, we have Samir, an apprentice perfumer. Samir is learning to capture the essence of things, of nature, to hold on to memories, to hold on to certain feelings through their smell. While Shaydow is the daughter of a master calligrapher, she is trying to hold on to meanings of things, to emotions through the geometry of her letters. Their love isn't loud, their love is expressed, their love is lived and expressed through their artistic pursuits. We have scent and script, the invisible and the permanent. Then when we take a look at Imtiaz Ali's Waapas Aaunga, true to Imtiaz Ali's signature style, here love is treated almost like devotion, almost like a spiritual journey, like pilgrimage. Here the characters are not just each other's partners, they are like each other's anchors. They hold each other to a world which is threatened with division, with partition. The heartbreakingly unifying thing about both these romances is that the divide, the separation does not come from within. The separation is external, it is violent. The lovers do not separate because their fires went out. The lovers separate because of the fires that were burning outside them. When the August 1947 arrived, it brought partition through provinces, through families, through hearts. Because these couples still never got their closure, their love remained frozen in time. So it stayed pure, agonizingly so incomplete. And in any art, just because their love remained incomplete, it became eternal. But how do we show such an eternal, undying love being carried through such decades and decades of time? Both Aanchal Malhotra and Imtiaz Ali uses different tools, different vehicles to carry that love. Aanchal Malhotra used the power of smell to carry memories. No matter where Samir went, he carried with himself the ghosts of material things. No matter how far away he was from the source of his memories, Just a little whiff of jasmine, of sandalwood, of khus brought him back to where it all began. For Sameer, he did not carry Firdaus in his memories. He carried her in his smell. But in case of Imtiaz Ali's movie Main Vaapas Aaunga, this stimuli is completely different. It is completely inverted. As opposed to Aanchal Malhotra's immaterial hold of memory, in Imtiaz Ali's story, the protagonist's mind itself returns to his repressed memories through dementia. As the elderly protagonist, played so brilliantly by Naseeruddin Shah, oh my god, as he loses his grip on reality because of dementia, he forgets everyone of his present life. He forgets his family, his children, his grandchildren. But his memory holds on to that lost love, to that slim thread of memory that he left behind in Pakistan after that 1947 partition. He is constantly taken back and relives the trauma of his youth. His short-term memory fades, but his lost love and his lost homeland keeps tormenting his dying mind. Let us think how beautifully, heartbreakingly and brilliantly poetic both these things are. In the book, in Aanchal Malhotra's book, the protagonist, he uses his art to keep the memory of his beloved alive. In Imtiaz Ali's movie, the protagonist's memory destroys his present life but holds on to that slim thread of his past, of his lost love. But in both the cases, we get to see that memory isn't something that we have. It is some place we inhabit. It is some place we live when the real world, when everything around us becomes too much to bear. The brilliance of both these pieces of art compared to any typical historical drama or books is their obsession with the aftermath. They do not rely on the gore, the tragedy, the fires of the 1947 partition. They are interested in what lingered after that. They are interested in the survivors. They are interested in the trauma that is passed for generations. In the book of Everlasting Things, we see how Sameer's trauma, it makes him silent, it changes his posture, it settles in him, and he carries it with him everywhere he goes to. In Imtiaz Ali's universe, we see how that unresolved, untalked about trauma carried by the grandfather passes everywhere he walks in. It passes into his children, his grandchildren. The trauma of displacement wasn't something that only the grandfather carried. It was passed down from generation to generation. Aanchal Malhotra's book cannot be talked about without discussing her ability to use scent to evoke something in us, to evoke our innermost feelings, to hit us right at our cores. The same way, Imtiaz Ali's Main Vaapas Aaunga cannot be discussed without talking about A.R. Rahman's music and Irshad Kamil's lyrics. The lyrics and the music, they hit us right at our guts, right to our core, just like Aanchal Malhotra's perfume notes do to us. Aanchal Malhotra's perfume is her motive. In Imtiaz Ali's movie, it is the music that grounds us to the story. But have you ever wondered why even after so many years of partition, we still come back to these stories? Why even after nearly 80 years of partition, we still go to bookstores, we still go to movie theaters to watch these stories unfold? Why do we do that to ourselves? Because I believe history books, they give us the numbers, the statistics, the data. But these stories, art, it gives us the human cost, and that never gets old. Aanchal Malhotra captured these tragedies through lyrical prose, while Imtiaz Ali captured these stories through beautiful cinematic musical scores. Both these pieces of art, The Book of Everlasting Things and Main Vaapas Aaunga, remind us of a single most beautiful thing. Human connection is a stubborn thing. You divide a country, you divide the people using politics, or our minds can decay. But the things we love deeply enough, they remain everlasting. They always find a way to say Main Vaapas Aaunga. Even if sometimes as a shout and sometimes as a whisper. If you have read the book or if you have watched the film, then do comment if you agree with me, if you could find these similar motives in the movie and the book, and let's discuss. If you haven't watched the movie or read the book, then I really suggest that you do, because you are not going to be disappointed.